Hello, dear friends, today. Us December 5th, Thursday, and the topic that I want to offer you today, I believe that this is one of the most important of those, which I have offered you over the past a few months, maybe the most important, because understanding this topic will allow you to understand that happens in the United States, who really came to power to rule this country for, well, how? At least the next 4 years, and it will be reflected literally on everyone because of ambitions. This group of people, they spread far and wide. The world, the topic is complex, includes philosophical aspects, because at the core of every political movement, whether you want it or not, the parties are lying around some political, philosophical views. So I searched for material for a long time, found acceptable for the disclosure of this topic. Some, again, they're complex. I try to simplify them as much as possible for understanding of a wide audience. And after that, as I will tell, but it is incredibly interesting, at least for me, because now I see. Real prospect, this article's example, how to get intelligence, information from open sources. I'm sure that this is the topic that we're working on. Now let's look at it. I'll tell you about it. The best intelligence services are fighting peace, and then when I tell you briefly the content of these articles, I will break it down, and I'll put it on the shelves, as they say, point. For the point, well, let's get started. So I based this article on a publication by an French edition, which is called, like the American Tech Right Came to Power. The article was published November 15th, quite recently. Well, in general, absolutely, what does it say? How? It is said that the following story follows from it. Goya's own investigation. Should I write something like that, or something? Prova or something else is one of the most respected publications in the world for sane people, for intellectuals, so I recommend it too. This is what it refers to. So, investigation results role of several billionaires from Silicon Valley to re-election of Donald Trump to the post president, the United States, and first of all among these, Elon Musk's billionaires emphasize the influence of the new ideological movement in America, uniting libertarian utopias and conservatives. Few people from that team had any value, which brought Trump to power. There is something to celebrate about the last elections, how Elon will get a mask in less than a week. After November 5th, on election day, fortune increased by $70 billion. Is a monstrous profit from investments Trump election campaign, which have already turned out to be. Trump's exorbitant $120 million campaign dollars in just a few months, but he rendered a much more important service, maybe the decisive Trump provided for his company Twitter services, or X platform that became a tool. Mass influence began. American voters who, in terms of coverage, it surpassed all the rest. The mainstream of information taken together. The last elections, they're the banner of the most. The metamorphosis that happened to the mask. In recent years, one could say the most active. Tesla, in connection with its support, with her support for LGBT rights, he financed LGBT. His movements did not satisfy him at all. There should have been no conservative ones, values he kept up with, so to speak. At the time, he was almost progressive, if not. He only needed one thing to face. The president of the country was normal, a man of common sense whose values are located in the center of the three, say, countries. Well, and this year, it was already completely. The other person was such a fighter. supporter of far-right views, traditional values. Well, as you know, he played a big role in the election of Trump and this role of the mask. Trump himself emphasized in one of his first performances on the occasion, said in the address, Trump Ma star is born and he is super. Genius, we must protect our geniuses. There aren't that many of us, I must say that. Trump who loves to attribute, to appropriate everything. Do victories have anything to do with him? Or, no, he has one like that. Weakness is a unique case in life. Trump this shows that. Musk played a real role, but Musk was also remains only important, but not the most. A significant, but not the most influential force of those that actually led Trump to power, which is now standing. Something happened behind. Shift of part of Flint or Silicon Valley's political change model or change. His Lika is a stormy version, a broader shift among the part. Representatives of leading representatives. Silicon Valley, which traditionally, until recently, they were leaning towards the Democrats, but now they have become ultra-right. Several IT industry tycoons in that, and to some extent supported similar. Political turn is what is called here. Surname is called, article is called. The company that cheats is presented in all. I recommend this matter to those who want. Find out all this in detail, just like that. Find this article in Lamont and study with. Pencil, as they say, in your hands in you. You will hand everything over. You will understand, but I will let you through. It's all because for big people it's like that. As we heard it, so we did. Forgot in short, it means right up to. Year's a significant part of the Salino manna. And now most of them are also for. Democrats made a lesser turn. Approximately less than odd magnates of this industry, but they turn out to be the most. Combat, and in his hands were those tools that made it possible to accomplish this turn and bring Trump to power. By the way, here's the question. How did this happen? From this article, it will become clear how it is. It turned out like this for many. Powerful as go tycoons, Silicon Valley in the year of election, Trump became moral, shocked, and former donors to the Democrats such. As an investor, let's say, called David Sachs, then Mark Anderson, Ben Horowitz, the Thaler twins, Cameron, they're all fast. Reoriented. I will tell the founder of PayPal and Technolog, who became extremely rich thanks to its investments, Facebook, till the first of these magnates supported Trump and is now at the center of this new political movements. Remember number one among them. This is not Musk. This is Till who is Till this. He's an immigrant after all. Already with German ethnic some. Time lived in South Africa, Ma, but this. Different people if Ma is considered a person. Well, to put it mildly, reckless is ready and can deliver. Billions in general their own business on zero. Or fell disappeared. And fate was always in the end inclined for him when he has it in his pocket. Metaphorically speaking, the last one is left. The dollar is different. Think about your position, your decisions, and painstakingly not cavalry on Scamas. Musk as a chess grandmaster. Chess plays its game, this is this. This is very important, and here it is around. This group was formed from him. Magnates, which is approximately somewhere DT of the largest companies. Silicon Valley, a total of them. interfering with eating. F, they were named. Technologically right, and then ultra. The right is a new, very influential. The center of political power in the country, I'm told, after the last elections. Elections, that's social economic. The core foundation of the Republican Party, categorically, radically, changed since 2016. Enterprise, the military-industrial complex, then the oil and gas complex now. It's not so much a party wounded. How much is the party of Mega? Now she has another. So, to speak, this is economic support. Here are the Silicon Valley companies, which I tell you, and it happened like that. Unnoticed, it seems, for X. Big rock decoy. Business is one that produces not something. In tons and barrels in. Kilograms there, and so on. And this is what produces knowledge of the idea. The ability to influence broad audiences. Population are those who work for the CIA. In order to guess what is going on there. In the enemy camp at the Pentagon. Vlad is developing operations against. Conditional enemy, that is, these are people who owns receives knowledge, literally out of thin air through analysis. A huge amount of information about A. Then he can do it with the help of artificial intelligence to turn into the right decision, and that's what they are. Achieved. In the last elections, although they, extremely rich but quiet, say that Musk, now here. By the way, they say he should sell some part. Shares, which currently make up in total, well, about 260 or something. Well, around that, $25,000 and $26 billion. So after that, of this sale that is about to take place, his fortune will reach approximately $340-$360 billion. This is something unprecedented, if I'm not mistaken. In American history, at least. Business, but there were other famous ones there. Names that supported Harris financially, and she collected almost in twice as much money as Trump raised. She was supported by founder Bill Gates. Microsoft supports Lauren Paul Jobs. Widow of Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, who was considered the richest woman in Silicon Valley, and she got from them $1.6 billion is also monstrous, unprecedented. Amount, and Trump received about 70 billion. That is 2 times less, and still not. Less precisely, because the group that there was a group of till, let's call it that. Tool's a tool. This one which allows you to receive information, E to analyze and accept, decision, and then there were those who, especially for this purpose in advance, acquired for a monstrous sum of $40 billion. Musk, these 2 instruments. They allowed half as much money put into action, and when the race went, the enemy had twice as many of these funds as it is written in the article. These 20 companies or representatives of magnates has direct access to the global media public. Space is what I said. Regarding the huge coverage of the widest, as they say, the layers of voters are broad, the masses of people that neither had. Who finds this an interesting analogy is reduced to, by comparison, what it was. And what does this group of 20 represent? I don't call the committee D compared to traditional surnames known to all. Oligarchs, magnate, Carnegie, Rockefellers. Morgans, they also participated in politics and owned the media. But attention is the concentration of power, which is now in the hands of these Silicon Tech billionaires. Valleys their access to technology and the ability to bring to life what you want. They believe all this. It's unprecedented how such a thing happened. There wasn't one now. Never the VM difference between those. Oligarchs them. Didn't strive for the moon, didn't talk about Mars, and they were not going to introduce cryptocurrency in various forms, and ordinary Americans didn't wear T-shirts with. There, the image of those people, that is, Rockefeller's, Carnegie, they weren't, are able to prevent Ukrainian military operation against the Russians, or somewhere to slow down her attention is one. The most important proposal in this text from, which raises the question, what? It turns out that these are in the face of Till's mask, and the rest that are included in this combat. 20 they what prevented Ukrainian military operation against Russians, and what kind of operation is this, I think? That this is a hint at a counteroffensive by the VSU, which was supposed to start in the spring. A little late, 23rd. Years and ended, as we know, unsuccessfully. Wasn't there? Here are the hands or evil will of this one. Committee of 20, because well about. Mask, we know who started first. Help with an open mind, it seems. Ukraine, and then somehow cleared out Moscow. His position changed, and he started. First Taimim helped, then he started. Stir, but really into the cream. It's time to say that his company is. The Palantir played a very active role in this war of Ukraine against the aggressor. On the Ukrainian side, how things were there, I don't know. That's a separate question. In this case, this is a mysterious phrase that immediately caught my attention. That is, it turns out from the point of view of NT, these people could have been able to prevent Ukrainian military operation against Russians, and maybe they are it. Made a reservation, that is it. I must have accidentally dropped this phrase. The author and maybe. Especially these people still are a minority in the Flint and Valley, but are not political warriors to the extent that all the rest of the inhabitants are the inhabitants of the Flint. The Valley warriors are not present in. I see the same Baj. Deals with Africa, helps there. Invests all his billions and will invest. Almost all of them have monstrous numbers there. He had these billions, but others did not. Were so greedy for power as these as March Lamont until the early 70s. Perhaps the utopia of the Silicon pioneers, the valleys were. Myrtle world. Web of borders as if. Scientific progress is crumbling for everyone. It will be a world without rules. By and large, politicians were considered representatives of the Flint and Valley people. Corrupt ones must be kept away from them. Further away, and technology will solve everything. That's why we need to develop and hold on. Away from the East Coast, that's it. Where is Washington located and all? State bureaucracy were pioneers of the internet. And IT technologies for maximum freedom. Limited role of personality. Governments well, and they in the end, internet computer technologies will make all political differences obsolete and were unnecessary, and so until about the 2000s. Years, that is, they were libertarians. Apostles, so to speak, individual freedoms. But that was before the new ones appeared. Types of startups, such as, let's say, or BNB, and the IT industry and policies themselves have changed. We couldn't do anything against them like that anymore. Get around without your own rules in order to impose. Some to T. Cato asked, settle. Because she becomes well, literally, that is to say, covers. Life activities of people around the world, practically unlimited, and naturally causes the bureaucrat's itch. The official to impose his own on all this. That is, a situation arose where the state began to interfere by New rules for the introduction of regulatory. Rules arising. Tech giants A and sign. Protest or resistance these. Silicon tech giants. The valleys began. Lobby against or something like that. To restrain or defend one's interests in political circles in the government. As far as it means political participation of the technology sector, it became important and decisive. Public demand for government. But this was clearly evident in the end. Activities of the Biden administration, who tried to limit large or dominance of big tech companies. He fought against monopolies. Monopolies of the United States have always fought traditionally because monopoly, something is considered bad. Its effectiveness in dying precisely. Monopoly will destroy capitalism, as he wrote. In his time, Lenin and not only Lenin, came to this thought. That's why the Americans, well, they smashed all these things at the time. Monopoly, including Rockefeller, who could think they took him and covered him up instead of her. There turned out to be a lot of different things there. Companies, he became the richest man because he got shares for all of these. The company itself is not all clean, but he lost influence as king got in. Economic life of the country and Biden began to restrict companies such as Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft. That is from the crowd of Silicon Valley, and he pushed a significant part, representatives of these companies, to opposition to his administration of his attempt all for settle well. We came to the situation when bureaucracy is administration. Biden then became the main enemy. Well, at least 1/3 of the representatives. Silicon Valley, and we came to situations of a known situation which says you may not be interested. Politics, but politics sooner or later will be interested in you and these pillars. Representatives of about 20 companies felt that something was needed to do the most important thing. Okay, there. Different plans. Regulation was introduced there, but the last one, so to speak, what prompted representatives of Silicon Valley for, in order to quit, cheat, accept, quit your lot, and decide what you need to do. Something to do. It was the crypto industry. Biden was against her, tried her. Regulate or limit this cost. Very great discontent of the pillars. Flint Valley. Our business has a boom in the future. Technologies in the future. America allows China to grow forward and here, on the crest of the wave, cryptocurrencies, it was decided that representatives of these the largest Silicon Valley companies they will support. That straw that almost broke the backbone of this camel, but this is not accidental, because in what year during election campaign on cryptocurrency, the industry had almost half of the money paid. Corporations in primarily Silicon Valley Political Action Committee. This is the so-called PAC, which already a well-known time plays a role in on any level there. Presidential level senators, congressmen, and so on. That is, this political action committees are a machine. Election campaign in general, and each election campaign, specific participation of this company from the president until the last one. He demanded from congressmen oil and gas industry in exchange for favorable economic and energy politics, and he returned to power. He is here. I turn my position 180 degrees if He used to be against Bitcoin, but now he is. He said, I'm for Bitcoin. Why am I for? Bitcoin because my friend is for Bitcoin. Musk, who has done so much for mine. Elections, here you have it all the same. Concerning electric cars, I am for. Electric cars, said Musk, because I should be for because Elon is very supported me a lot. And finally, artificial intelligence is the same. History of cryptocurrency and Trump, which brought the Committee of 20 to power after. This said, we will cancel dangerous. Joe Biden's executive order, which hinders innovation in the field. Artificial intelligence, Republicans support him now, and he now will work for human prosperity. So here is the ideology that now it defines the flint to flint. Technological progress must develop tirelessly and without much need. Worry about potential costs. Attention to the dangers to society that may arise in connection with this. Technological progress, including artificial intelligence, God bless him. This progress will solve all the dangers itself. As for yourself, as you remember in the Soviet Union, when it collapsed, it was already in Russia and in other newly independent republics. There was such an illusion in the States at the beginning. What about 2 years ago? Reforms market economy, it will solve everything. Problems, well, you remember what happened then, right? What was happening in Russia, in particular when Gaidar's government was waiting for when market reforms will solve all problems well. Thus, we will draw an intermediate conclusion. The result of what I said is that we don't. Forgot the main thing, the position of the premise of the merger. Giants with. It became conservatives, Republicans. The desire of technology to get rid of. From the state's side, the impetus for this, the issue of cryptocurrency served as a basis for this. Artificial intelligence, main idea. Ideologists of this trend in the Flint. Dowlini became the idea of progress, first of all, even if it brings certain danger to society and arose. Confrontation between IT specialists or giants. Flint, valleys which we will call technological. Progressive versus state. Bureaucrats dip, so-called. And in the center of it was Till. Representative means emigration, as I already said. This he is considered a thinker. Well, almost like Gidge, save back home in one. Bottle cream, Silicon Valley heat. The bureaucracy expressed itself in this way. The main enemy of Silicon Valley is people. Believe that the government is ineffective. What about imposing idiotic rules on, which takes time and talent? The government must be run as business. You understand, state armed forces from your century. It has transformed into this bureaucratic monster that lives and feeds itself and lives for itself. Forgetting about what needs to be developed first. Total technological progress is why it is necessary. Remove, well, almost like. We will destroy the Bolsheviks with violence. And we are building here, it is also said what? In such a way that we will build a government. Should be run like a business, that is. As a corporation, as Apple, as Microsoft. How did the company like the scrap, or how SpaceX EU mask, so it is. There was a desire to abolish regulation, simplify management, even simplify a whole bunch of government agencies who were born during the new course. More Roosevelt, and that's all.
Идея которого состояла в том, что надо осушить болото, то есть уничтожить deep states. И вот таким образом возник союз двух сил. С одной стороны, это айтишники Кремниевой долины, с их идеей избавиться от государственного регулирования.
Regulation from the other side of the tramp,
который стал антисистемным человеком из-за обид и других комплексов. Ну, его, знаете,
you know, he was offended by this deep state, and he decided to take revenge on him by destroying. And here they found each other. Next is a very important thought technological. The right feels that the liberal left, they don't understand them well. That is, the Democrats. Let's assume that these people are right. Technologists believe that financial resources should not be spent on reducing inequality attention of those who voted for Trump in the last election and who thought that they would have a tramp. Income, wages, taxes will increase, so the technological ones will decrease. The right believes that financial resources, we need to spend it not on raising it, not on tax cuts for the people foresaw, and they don't need money to raise their salaries. Should be directed towards funding technological process, and here is mine remark on this matter. I feel that soon this nuance that I didn't know about. Nobody promised anything else this morning about this platform, completely different people even. Maybe he didn't suspect her existence, so soon this is a nuance. Will be an unpleasant surprise for millions of Americans voted for Trump in the hope that they will decrease. Taxes will increase. Salaries, because the people who brought Trump to power, they don't care about. It's not worrying they are here on edges at the junction. Racism, what are people? Groups of people who are prone to progress and should be elite, and others who are more adapt and live better in. That's why they write about slavery conditions. They should be there like this. The sad reality of those about technology and the state. Public administration as to computer program which you can hack into something there. Tweak, hack, in short, is it possible? Improve it? Well, we have to try to improve it. Improve, and everything is a computer program. That's why Trump's slogan is Make America Again the Great. He came to the type. So because firstly you think that Tram more, not in the USA great. He decided to become a country because he didn't believes in democracy. He does not believe, did not convince, that the democratic process itself. He is capable of solving such problems himself. I decided not to interfere in these elections myself, but he didn't have to do it because he was already in the center of a whole intellectual movement. National conservatives who started unite to try again, define the intellectual line. Republican Party too. Stick to a new electoral base. Trump, in short, they figure out how. Need to hack and improve, or what? Tweak this program, public administration, and electoral process under there. Needs were brought Trump to power in what is needed for this. To do what ideas, where to whom to promote. And they did all this because that's why. Trump said that was what they told him. They wrote, but it didn't correspond to that. What interests do they actually have represented? What was really in their heads? And with the main ideologist again, they emphasized that it wasn't even Musk, it was till because, which has been opening every year since 2019. NECON, that is how I understand National Convention, is a conference on national conservatism, which is designed to provide intellectual weapons. Trumpeter is not just anyone, but Till and he. By the way, it is considered the biggest money. He made his first as a co-founder of PayPal, which is probably used, but if not, all that huge number of people. He wrote to the whole world as an intellectual. Many essays, including the myth of diversity, diversity is not to be. He must have read Alexander's book. Solzhenitsyn, Archipelago Gulag, and together with Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, these two books, they showed him how much. So we see that ability, states to achieve great ideas, decreases with its decrease. Efficiency, that's why I'm interested. An idea of how we can avoid. Politicians, that is, the state can do without a state at all for this purpose. And Trump should have been and was elected as the so-called deep state destroyer, which is what he will probably try to do. How is this all about? Change the form of government of the country to a management-like direction. Corporations, that is, we are actually talking about. Change of political regime, if you want. That is, it is almost a revolution, or if, do you want a coup d'etat? Well, it really does change The form of the political regime changes. The form of government is changing, but it's almost change of face, so to speak. Political state of Mar and Lenin also owed Eno. IRY about that is why it is necessary. Replace with capitalism. Sorry about communism, which is the first. The phrase of which is socialism, that's what. It worked out, they tried to do it. The Bolsheviks then pulled with them more. A number of countries have spent time on this matter. Isn't it the whole 10th century? Now for the second one. Entry, but not from the Bolsheviks, but from Mensheviks. There are 20 of them against the silicon share. Mensheviks from Silicon in another SS, he wrote rejects the electoral process as a means of reforming society, that is, change of government, that is, president change of government, which, until now they work, he denies it, because the masses are wide-ranging, who are generally not educated for. In order to solve complex issues for them, you can't trust important the solution is this. He sees the problem of democracy and electoral system. I don't believe anymore that freedom and democracy compatible. He wrote well how to find exit from politics in all its forms. Manifestations invest in new space of personal freedom which the government can't intervene yet are not available to the government, and so he has. An idea came up, he, by the way, called it this. Cyberspace is the state there. Tries to regulate somehow, but not really. Interferes. Remember, yes. Colonization and finally the ocean, but since space was already occupied by the mask and ideas, took on. For this project Tom, which consists of to create in the vastness of the ocean, autonomous permanent ocean, Odo communities, or there's some settlements there, which will organize themselves, manage or artificial islands, which China is now in South China. The sea washes up the Emirates, speak actively. They are working in this direction here, and got busy with the idea. How he perceives society, technology that can be hacked and update, as Dasha says old. The state has become almost personal, determination to destroy. Well, just like the Bolsheviks until this year. Yes, destroy American government. State, I think that with such ideas, he wouldn't have lived long in freedom if he were in. Putin sat, Navalny, and probably the same with the same outcome. That is, again, we're talking about almost about revolution and state. Anarchism, which means it happens as a result of a coup d'etat, in order to destroy the state altogether and go to self-government, then one of his pearls. Democrats are ineffective, a destructive system of government in it. So much a cow. Under the monarchical regime. Controlled response, what next? Monarchical, thank God it is not. The Supreme Court there at the end of the CONV came out that the monarch may replace the CEO or general management system, but not. He must definitely come to. In the election process, that is, it could be, you will even be called president, but he will be, absolutely. In front of voters, in front of others, and will be, perform other functions in full sense. This whole action will destroy this. The rotten bureaucratic PY consists of that in order to ensure rigidity, reboot of society or state. Bureaucracy must give way to the National Director General here. Either call him emperor or consul or whatever you want. One thing is certain, it will be the one. They call him a dictator because CEO in any corporation. It will not rely on public opinion. He will make a decision like this, as he thinks it should be, as he demands. Technological process in this. Corporations and genetically, it means we have reached the point. Genetics, what does this mean? What? Some groups of the country's population are more adapted to dominate this society. And slavery, therefore, they will. Gentlemen, they will be the elite at that time. How others are more adapted to slavery, and therefore let them be there. There remain, this is generally another Gorky. I would say hello to the broad masses of the people, voters who voted on elections for Trump in the hope that the country's income will rise the most, will turn into a paradise for them. Tulips and dandelions will bloom all around, and life will be wonderful, amazing then. Yes, they fly in two pairs. They where they are, that is here it turns out. You will be for the rest of your life and the children. Yours will be rivers, don't even think if you have a good education. You have a talent for it, technologies you will be in. Top class, if not used so well word. I'm here. I use metaphysical to us that the poor Americans hope sky American. Situation under Trump, laws collapse well now. You understand where the talk about that there will be no more elections after. These United States of America, this is what Trump told the World Cup, what the NS repeated to them. Now we don't need a president who, elected by universal law. General manager needed name. It's either consul or dictator. Then like this exchange. That is, we have determined that. On the corporate side of this, alliance between sharks or monsters, Silicon Valley and parts. The Republican Party is there in the center, is located till, although here are a couple of words I wanted. I would like to say about the mask, how it will be herein. In purely practical terms, how will it be? Influence the foreign policy of the United States. In the States, for example, everyone is racking their brains right now. There's supposedly hawks come of power, and although Trump appoints them there in particular, except which supposedly, well, yes, until now. They're trying to make him the Minister of Defense. But something is wrong. It turns out that way about this. Musk said it. He said it. He has it there. Tesla needs tax cuts, and he already has. It seems like everything was agreed upon there. And he says, I said about Chinese in general. Recently when Musk was discussing it, what to do with China, there are some. Trump himself threatened to say, let's go. First they get 8% tax, then another 10 and 60%. Nama said so. I'm talking about Chinese in general. Why do we need all this? Let's do it earlier. Remember, they said everything that is good for the yellow. Morse is good for America now. It turns out everything is good for Tesla and SpaceX. This is now good for America. And since a state is being built here, autocratic, CEO of another corporation, in another country like Comrade SI. So we're waiting. I feel that the external Trump administration policy is preparing. We have many surprises well now. And as follows from this article from some others, Trump is this at all. The intermediate figure was picked up and made him president because, well, there was already a Natan base, it arose. Spontaneously so. Got millions of people in America. Voters turn out to be so naive that everything Trump told them, they took it at face value. Well, that's it. They had such a faith, so they decided, well, let's launch it like a train, but the main one they wanted to bring to authorities or wins is that person, which came to Till's attention how he just graduated from Yelsk University. He picked it up later, they say. He appointed a manager or CEO of one, then transferred to the investment company, her to another investment company, which his friend had already created, and they say eyewitnesses who worked in these companies that he does not bother in view of events. Regular appearance at work therein. Mostly his jacket was hanging, but it's 20 million. He earned the first money from this business later. After that, it means they launch it already in. I made the policy like this. It is written till made him. He spent the minimum time as a senator there. He didn't even serve his sentence. and then he, are being transferred to a new job, Vice President of the United States. America, as a result, as Lamont writes, Vince is essentially located at the very heart. It's political restructuring, which is currently happening in the States if, from the side, Silicon, Downline Sharks in the center, is located somewhere in the political sphere. Say segment of this alliance is located. His creation like Papa Carlo and Buratino. So here Buratino is Vance. Therefore, we can assume in connection with. This is what Trump, well, first of all, he's not particularly, will be strained by the state, control, and a large share of the load. The presidential will be carried out by the National Assembly and the most active. Unfortunately, he already took. Ukraine will probably fill this niche, but Trump will play golf, and it will be his last, so to speak, presidential SROA. Yes, then it will lead him to the honorable place. Pension for CEO unknown. For what period, but that is what is planned judging by. All based on all these ideos. The ideologist should and can become events. Uncertain future, that is, this person. The new right is even more radical. Directions in terms of nationalism, antinomy, Ari's politics, and confrontations. Intervisio, that is, it is the armed forces. Ideological revolution, what does it have to do with it? Beauty, well, it's dark, because part of it. This is for the saw, which is like in Russian. Propaganda says, Hatta, what is this for PLA? At the center of everything is the conservative value. This is a family, well, look at that same head, which they are now trying to push through. This very minister. Defense what seed? Are you kidding? What is there? What kind of conservative values are there? What? Far to go, Trump? How long is it? 3 or 4, not 3 wives, something else. Number of storms. Nils and so on. Well, there everyone is a rascal. God forbid, what LGBT, what kind of LGBT people, this is taboo means, transgenders, and among them, there is all this. It's not for nothing that we are flourishing in full bloom. Musk, at the beginning of his business career, supported it, and some did not. Stop supporting, that's why people. Throw a bone, what does pips mean, people? Nod with pleasure, furiously, growling AA. They are a completely different matter. That's why this immigration policy nationalism, this is how you understand they will accept those decisions that are currently transactional solutions that are profitable and are needed at the present time for their corporations, for their money, for their power. In 2 hours, the situation will change. They will be taken completely differently. Decisions, but about this in particular here. It is stated in the 2025 project, which the corporation wrote for them. Foundation told them about all this. Values about what they want. Do. They include, therefore, about cleaning approximately 10,000 civil servants to be replaced. For loyal ones, that is the most important idea. Everything will be managed by the Committee of Audit, or the experts appointed by him will do all this. Down to go down, and at the bottom, even on, will sit in ministerial positions. Obedient, loyal, absolutely loyal, which means which will be it. To bring everything to life, that's exactly it. This is probably explained by the consideration. The specifics of those people who were picked up. Now Trump for his team, well, and so on. Meanwhile, time after the election of Trump after that, how Trump assessed the efforts of Musk is Lamont. Writes Musk thanked by appointment. Head of department position. Government efficiency, where is it? Anticipates a reduction in federal budget of $2 trillion, that is. FGT forget about social. Programs, as said before, this is this. This is not part of a rational plan. Corporate management in America appeared, yes, that is, appointed Musk to this position. The first national one appeared in America. The CEO you dreamed of. Technological, right? Well, now, let's quickly go through the points as I told you. Explain so America came to. Authorities Committee, I call it, that conditionally, by number of corporations, which the lemon points to. Committee of 20 to 10 years of the year all. Silicon Valley was for the Democrats. Then new global species appeared, technology companies that the government tried to strangle and rein in with all sorts of new ones. By decrees and rules of conduct, they were outraged and brought it as. The tool brought Trump to power here. Who made Trump? How is all this? Happened for this too were needed. Companies or two groups of companies well-vova. Same companies Teal they have. Colossal government contracts say he has access to top secret information these companies work on. United States Foreign Intelligence Service, America to obtain valuable important intelligence information by means of analysis of large open information. The amount of open information they work for the Pentagon, that is they. The efficiency has already been determined and they are cheating, receive information and then analyze it. What to do with it in order to fulfill. 1, 2, 3 some goals if. Set one of these goals as win this election then. This company will show its product will show what needs to be done, what points to convey. Then Twitter will do it and bring it to fruition. It turns out that everything you need is here. Blogger Josh Rogan, who gave shortly. Before the election, I interviewed Trump from him. The audience is somewhere around 13 million people in his blog. He is a blogger on YouTube, so that's it. After the elections, he spoke with. He was amazed in that company of Trump. During that night, when it was going on, voting and watched everything from the inside and said that Musk was running there and kept looking at his smartphone and so Turnout commented, what? Where do the numbers appear? And does he have these numbers? Results appeared 4 hours earlier. Then official yes, then about them. Officially announced well, he did it even harder. The conclusion is that once it is there before, he gets this data and he recognizes it. And once, do you know what data can be obtained in 4 hours? Influence them in order to change them and so on. Then, but it turned out, then they said so. Some analysts that this data is for him. Gave in general, some kind of program which performed the modeling or prediction is not exact. Analytical programs, again, well, what? The difference is analytical, they turn out to be turn out to be adequate. That is like this. It turns out that it is possible to win elections, meaning having two companies, and there's determination to achieve this goal state. So their ideology is their ideology. Main idea is main technological. Progress will solve everything. It needs to be developed. All the money there no need to fight. Inequality, it's all nonsense. Negative processes will be automatically resolved. This technological progress, the state bureaucracy is ineffective, killing progress from this point of view. China is better than America with its democracy because there is no China. There is no democracy. There is no such bureaucracy in theory. They therefore believe that China is better for development of technological process. Public administration is needed. Replace with corporate governance. The head of state must stand. The general director of which can be called monarch, consul, duchy, Führer as. And there is a specific example here. Nationalism, racism in their ideology. Because it says that some people are well adapted to technological progress, therefore worthy of being managers, and others are better suited to slavery. That's why they should be there and not. You need to get out of there. That is redneck. Should remain rare, conditionally I have. In view of the redneck, it follows that. A significant portion of people voted. Trump will be very upset on two counts. The positions of the first regarding the fact that their well-being will improve significantly. Unlikely. There will hardly be any on the other side. We'll move to a more privileged position, stratum. Society that is actually an aspiration or plans or idea. Destroy the so-called deep state or democratic form of government is révolution et sa coup d'état, which may end or it means anarchism. For a monarch like
вот
this,
таким монархом или генеральным
the CEO came up with the idea
Идея о том,
that
что прогресс может
progress
сам
can
автоматически все
automatically
решить,
do
это
the armed
очередная
forces
утопия.
itself. To
Этого
solve
не
this
будет.
is another
Поэтому вся эта
utopia.
теория,
This is
она
not. Will be
обречена.
therefore this
Ко
whole
всем
theory
всемущая
she. The evil
теория о
theory
том,
of
как
how
обеспечить
is
прогресс
doomed to all.
человечества,
Ensure the
как все
progress of
предыдущие,
humanity
рано или
as
поздно
all.
она
Previous
обречена
sooner
на
or later
провал.
she is clothed. The
Утопизм этой
utopianism of
теории
this
уже
theory
сейчас
is already
показан
failing.
и
Is shown and
очевиден.
obvious
Вот
if
если
you look at it.
посмотреть на
Key
тех
positions have been
назначенцев, на
assigned to
ключевые
those
должности, связанные с
related to the
государственной
state.
безопасностью.
There is no need to look at them
Посмотреть
for
на них
safety.
не надо на
On
идеи,
ideas on they have
есть у них,
corresponds.
соответствуют ли они
Do they
консервативным
adhere
идеям
to
личной жизни
conservative
или нет? Десятый
ideas of
вопрос.
personal
С точки
life?
зрения
Or not
эффективности.
the 10th question
Это
from
же
the point
как,
of view. Efficiency is the
как я говорил
same
последний
as
раз,
how as I tell you. The last
какистократия.
time I
Это
said
управление
kakistocracy
худших, то есть
is
худших
management of the
невозможно
worst,
было
that is
для
to
тех
say,
должностей,
the
на которых
worst
они
to
сейчас еще
find. It
беседуют.
was
Я имею в виду
impossible for
министра
those
обороны, директор
positions on,
ФБР,
which are still hanging
директор
now on
национальной
me.
разведки.
See, the
Ну, это
Secretary of
вообще
Defense,
кошмар, мусор
FBI
какой-то
Director,
подняли
Director of National
с
Intelligence. But
земли.
this, it's a total
Видишь,
nightmare,
тут
some kind of
власть
trash,
лучше.
raised from the
Где
ground,
корпоративное
where's the
управление?
power
Это
of the
полный
best,
провал,
where's
как я вам
corporate
говорил.
governance, this is
Назначить, это
complete
значит полный
failure,
провал с
as I
точки
told
зрения
you to
национальной
appoint them. This
безопасности,
means a complete
после
failure
которого,
from the point
как
of
уже
view.
было,
National
это
security,
недавно
after
же,
which, as it
недавно
was
совсем
already
в жизни
recently,
страны
just
было
recently,
9/11,
the life of the country
была
was
война
completely 9 to
в
1.
Ираке,
There was a
которой не
war
должно
in
было быть,
Iraq
потому что
that
не было
shouldn't
для
have
этого
been,
оснований.
because there was no basis
А это
for
было
it.
все в
It was all in the
результате,
end,
так
so
сказать,
to
ну так
speak well.
потихоньку
So
их
little by little
удушали.
their
И
ears.
ФБР, и
The
разведsoобщество,
society
и
at
Клинтон,
Lena,
а сейчас
now
и
they
под
are at the
корень
root,
собирается.
is going to that
То
is,
есть
here
тут
is
явное
obvious. It's a
противоречие.
contradiction
Если
if they
таких
recruit
набирают на
such
внешнюю
people.
политику,
Foreign policy is done this way.
таким образом делают Соединенными
The
Штатами
United States,
совершенно
completely open to
открытыми
external attacks.
для внешних ударов, то где
Then where
гарантия,
is
что
the
все у них будет
guarantee
нормально
that they will
внутри
have
страны?
everything? Normal
В
inside the
центре
country
политической
in the
части
center.
этого
Political
комитета
part of
20
this.
находится Венс.
Committee of
Для
this.
этого его вырастили, для этого его подготовили. Отсюда
It
следует,
follows
что
that
Трамп —
Trump
это промежуточная
is
фигура.
intermediate
А
figure
вот
here
Венс,
in as he
он
can.
может стать
God forbid
диктатором,
I
не
even
дай
become a
бог, даже не
dictator.
хочется
I want to
говорить
say how
вслух.
much I think that.
Я думаю, что это, по
This
идее,
is how it
вообще
should be
должно
in
глюкнуть.
theory.
Надеюсь, достаточно быстро. То есть Венс может
Glitch to become a
стать
dictator for a
диктатором
long time.
надолго, при этом
The
генеральным
CEO
директором
may
может
be
быть Маск
Musk or
или
Till
Тиль, или
or some
какая-то
combination of
комбинация,
both.
допустим,
Let's say
Рамасвами
frame with you
плюс
plus
Маск.
Musk,
Но они
but
уже
they already.
перессорились.
This
И
Indian
начал это
guy
вот этот индус
oversalted it.
Рамасвами, который сказал,
Said
что
that
Маск,
Musk is
как
like a
цирковая
circus monkey.
обезьяна, скачет
Jumps in
перед
front of the sea to get
Си,
him to lower
чтобы тот
taxes.
снизил налоги на
On
Теслу.
Tesla,
Это
they
они все
still
работу
don't
вместе
work
не
together.
начали. А вот
Started,
начнут
but I'll
там,
start their well in
мало
general not
мало не
much. It won't
покажется.
seem like a
Тиль,
little till
Тиль —
till.
это идеолог.
That's it.
Это самый
Ideologist,
главный
this is the most. The
человек,
main man
очень
is very
осторожный,
careful,
очень
very
расчетливый,
calculating in
в отличие
contrast
от
to.
бесшабашного Маска. Все эти
They
ценности,
proclaimed
которые они
reckless
провозгласили для
for the
народа,
people,
семья,
family,
личные
personal
свободы,
freedoms.
и так
And
далее,
so, on
все
all
это
this is
для
for the people,
народа
in
на самом
fact.
деле это
In fact,
сплошная
this is
туфта.
complete nonsense.
Главная
The main
эффективность
thing is
управления
management
ради прогресса. С этой
efficiency
точки
for
зрения данная
progress. From this
система
point of
может
view,
опасно
this
приблизиться к
system can.
фашизму.
It is
С другой
dangerous to
стороны,
approach
при
fascism
этой
from another
системе
side. The
возможности
parties under
Трампа
this
совершать
system
совершенно
have the
безумные
opportunity.
поступки
Trump to do
будут все-таки
absolutely
ограничены.
crazy
К счастью.
things.
К счастью
Actions
для
will still
всех.
be limited too.
Поскольку
Fortunately, for
управлять не
everyone,
он, он будет
fortunately,
в основном играть в
for
гольф, управлять
everyone,
будет
because
комитет
he won't be
20
in
или его
charge, he
представители,
will be
которые
in.
не
Mainly play
позволят
golf will manage. Committee
экстремальному
D
развитию
or its
событий ради
representative,
прихоти
but will
одного
not allow
человека.
extreme.
Вот,
For the
то есть
sake of
будет
extreme
ограничена его
developments,
возможность,
the whims of
не
one
ограниченная
man, that's
ничем,
it. His
мести
ability
своим так
to
называемым
not. Limited by
обидчикам, и
nothing
далее,
together
поскольку
with
целенаправленная
itself. Called the
централизованная
offender
система
and
управления
further
считается
because
самой
targeted
эффективной
centralized
идеологами
system.
этой
The
идеи.
control system
Естественным
is
партнером
considered the
такой
most
Америки
effective
станут
ideologists of this
автокритические
idea. A natural
режимы,
partner for such
такие как
America
Северная
will become
Корея,
autocritic
Китай,
North
Раша,
Korea,
Иран.
China,
Ну и,
Russia.
как я
Iran,
сказал,
well,
Маск
as I
уже
told you,
заявил,
Musk has
что он
already said that he was about
прокитаец. Он сказал,
Chinese
что не надо
and said that he
там
didn't.
особо
We need to put special
нажимать на
pressure on
кнопки. После
China,
того,
by
как
the
он
way.
сказал,
After he
Трамп
said,
объявил
Trump
о том, что он
announced
вводит
that he introduces,
50%
will introduce
тарифы
50
против
interest
ближайших
rates against the
союзников, общий
nearest
рынок
allies
Соединенных
common
Штатов
market of the
Америки,
United States.
Канада,
America,
Канада
Canada,
и
and
Мексика.
Mexico
Сделал
did.
ли это
Did he do it?
сделал
Did
ли
he do
он
it in
это в
addition to?
добавку к Китаю?
China China to tariffs against China, or instead? China, well, as Musk said, good. The country needs to negotiate with them. There's Am I Red? All this reminded me of this couple. I don't remember the James Bond films as they are. They're called, and they're at least. I vaguely remember two such films, in which the main evil is humanity. There was a group of terrible villains there. Worldwide, all mankind of the world, 10 to 12 people who from time to time occupied, gathered at a round table, and made global decisions for everyone. Number one was in charge, number one was so. Number D, number three. And from time to time, if number one to him, I didn't like the report, let's say number six. He pressed the button and it destroyed it, that is. There was a committee there, I think it was the DTI, but we are a committee of 20. We will see the World Cup then. It will all end here, dear. Friends, let me finish this video. I hope it won't be for you, especially tiring, but I think that I spent a lot of time with pleasure to master this material. Not only, I would say there's still a lot of this article. There are articles about this. Having understood that, I have laid it out for you here. You will understand the picture, the world as a whole, so to speak, on this. Let me end this video as always. Glory to Ukraine and the armed forces of the enemy. Must be broken, victory must be forged. We give you, dear friends, excerpts. Courage of firm faith in our inevitable victory, because we are on your side. Forces of good and light until we meet